First episode begins with Amber heating clay sculptures in the kiln. They're two busts of her and her mother, Norma. She's her mom's caretaker. Norma is on her deathbed, reliving the glory days of her quadruplet daughters, who starred in a procedural drama back in the day called Kid Cop Nights. Norma isn't very nice to Amber, nor a fan of the latter's sculptures. Amber has dedicated her life to fawning over her mother in the hopes that she gets a starring role in Norma's will. After all, Norma is quite wealthy. Who wouldn't want a piece of that money pie? However, Norma claims that out of all her daughters, Amber is the most disappointing. Paul, Norma's lawyer, arrives. Apparently, he's there to draw up a new will, one that sees Amber not benefiting from her mom's estate. Amber tries to elicit information from Paul, who folds almost instantly despite the unlawfulness this poses. He discloses that Norma has cut Amber and her sisters out entirely, leaving her wealth, estate, and the royalties she collects from Kid Cop Nights to Felicity Price. Next, Amber looks up Felicity, who's an award-winning multimedia artist. She drives to Vermont, where Felicity resides off the grid in a trailer. Amber catches her working on a new piece of art outside. We learn that Norma had quintuplets, not quadruplets. Felicity admits she shed her old persona, ditching civilization and disposing of her material possessions to fuel her art. It's a simpler life. Amber notes Felicity's attire, a blue jumpsuit with boots. She offers to snap new headshots for Felicity to feature on the latter's website. Before that, though, Felicity reveals that their father, Benny, is dead. He was an alcoholic who drove while inebriated with her in the car and crashed it. Amber lies, claiming their mom is dead. Later, Amber emails the headshots to Felicity, but she also keeps physical copies to order the exact same clothing as Felicity. She cuts her hair and adopts the same jewelry, including a nose ring, to imitate her newly discovered sister. It's abundantly clear that Amber plans to pretend to be Felicity so she can be the sole beneficiary of her mom's estate. After dressing the part, Amber texts her sisters, Delia, Cece, and Bibi, pics of her new look. They assume she's having a breakdown due to Norma's failing health. Then, as Amber tries to administer pills to her mother, Norma attempts to call for the nurse. Amber moves the call button away from Norma, declaring it's time for her to die. Inevitably, Norma passes away. Amber texts her sisters about their mom's death and informs them about the upcoming funeral. She tells Felicity she should see where she lives. However, Amber leads Felicity to a cliff. Below said cliff is the shoreline of a beach and, inexplicably, train tracks. Naturally, Felicity is bewildered. Why is Amber dressed like her? Also, Amber told her their mom is dead, but she got an email from a lawyer about inheriting Norma's wealth and assets. Amber lunges at Felicity, and there's a struggle. That is, until Amber launches Felicity over the cliff. She dies upon impact on the beach below. Then, Amber records a video and sends it to her sisters. Said video claims she hurled herself off the cliff due to her grief over their mother's untimely passing. However, Amber discovers something game-changing: Felicity's prosthetic leg, which got tangled in some tree roots as Felicity fell. Amber puts her phone in airplane mode to prevent that video from hitting the group chat. She gets the idea to strategically place Felicity's body by the train tracks, her leg stump touching them to make it look like a train ran over her leg. Amber takes the prosthetic leg with her when she leaves. After she leaves, Charlie's car pulls up by the cliff. Amber's sisters, Delia, Cece, and Baby, clamber out of the vehicle, peering over the cliffside. Amber's video was posted in the group chat, so they think she's dead. Next, Amber meets with Paul, claiming she's Felicity. She changes her accent and attire to disguise herself. Now, we rewind time, as this show is wont to do. Charlie works in a parking lot. Suddenly, two men employed by Beatrix Hasp, the head of the 5 families, start firing on Charlie. She speeds away. After this, Charlie is a mummy for a haunted hayride. Unfortunately, the aforementioned hitmen are on said hayride, so they shoot at her. Finally, Charlie works at an apple orchard. When she spies the men approaching in their vehicle, she hides. We see Charlie's apple-picking friend is none other than Delia, who covers for her. She tells the men that Charlie quit the day before. They drive away. Later, Charlie learns that Delia is one of the actresses who portrayed the lead in Kid Cop Nights. Norma wrested hold of Delia and her sister's finances. They saw a scent from the show. Norma also pushed Delia to drink, but the latter is thankfully sober now. That's why Delia works at the orchard. Norma has all her money. Delia admits filming Kid Cop nights wasn't as fun as it looked. However, her dream now is to buy the orchard from the owner and be her own boss. She asks Charlie about her dreams. Charlie would just like to get through the day without someone trying to kill her. Then Delia learns about her mother's death. She assumes that Norma left everything to Amber and hopes she can persuade her sister to give her something. Charlie offers to drive her to the funeral. Once inside, Charlie meets Baby and Cece, a DJ and professor, respectively. Cece speaks with a French accent due to her time in Quebec. The sisters talk about Amber, aka Hamber, who was the weakest actor out of the bunch. However, the conversation pivots to Amber's death after they receive that video. Charlie drives the sisters to the cliffside, where they discover Amber's body. Then, the sisters confront Paul after reading Norma's will. They want to know how their secret sister Felicity Price inherited everything and how Norma accrued so much wealth from royalties. Meanwhile, Charlie chats with the cops outside, who admit that Amber's foot is missing. Suddenly, Felicity appears. Amber manages to fool her siblings into making them believe she's the long-lost sister. However, Charlie observes from afar. She calls bullshit on everything Felicity says. She knows Amber is lying. Delia, Baby, and Cece attempt to persuade Amber to share the wealth. But Amber refuses, claiming that, as Felicity, she never knew a mother's love. This is her reward. Delia counters that Norma treated them poorly, though. Amber offers to give them each $150,000 if they vow not to sue her to contest the will. Bibi and Cece are willing to accept this offer. They sign the appropriate document. However, Delia storms out, refusing to go down without a fight. Paul reveals that Delia could contest the will on her own, barring access to Norma's assets, while said will is contested. Amber heads outside to dissuade Delia from suing her. Delia takes Charlie's car for a drive. Then, Amber dresses like Delia and marches into the sitting room to forge her sister's signature on the document. Charlie catches Amber, believing she's Delia. Charlie voices her concerns about Felicity. She knows this secret sister is lying. Next, Charlie demonstrates her lie detector on Amber, managing to pass every test the latter poses for her, all while munching on a giant chicken leg. After this, Charlie chats with Paul, asking him to confirm that Felicity is who she says she is. Paul reassures her that Norma had 5 daughters, not 4. He presents Charlie with a pamphlet from one of Felicity's art shows as proof. The conversation pivots to whether it's sextuplets or sextuplets. Charlie favors the former. Unfortunately, Charlie gets nowhere on this route. Later, Delia returns with Charlie's car. Amber persuades Charlie to confront Felicity herself and catch her in a lie. Amber shoves Charlie into another room as she removes her Delia disguise before the real Delia catches her. When Charlie reunites with the actual Delia, she remarks that she prefers the current beanie Delia is wearing over the yellow one Amber donned. Then, Charlie confronts Felicity, aka Amber. Every answer Amber gives Charlie is a lie until she pivots. Amber claims that Felicity is fake. She's a persona that Amber has adopted as an artist. She must purge herself of who she is to embrace transformation and become her new self. Charlie buys this explanation and apologizes profusely for overstepping. Meanwhile, Bibi DJs during the wake. Charlie tells Delia that confronting Felicity didn't work. She concludes that Norma's benefactor isn't an imposter, but she might suffer from imposter syndrome. Delia has no clue what Charlie is on about. Delia learns one of her sisters pretended to be her and forged her signature on that document to ensure she wouldn't contest the will. Paul gives her a copy of her signature. Charlie encourages Delia to rip it up. They can prove that's not her signature. However, Delia would rather accept the $150,000 and not put up a fight. Charlie chats with the cops again, who still haven't found Amber's foot. One of them admits that the Footloose tune is stuck in his head. Charlie opens Felicity's art show pamphlet to the page with the Kevin Bacon from Footloose piece. Charlie notes that each art piece is foot-themed in some way. Sure enough, Charlie and Delia discover a full-body shot of Felicity, featuring her prosthetic leg. Inside the mansion, Charlie accuses Amber of killing Felicity Price and pretending to be her. She asks Amber to reveal her prosthetic leg, and Amber obliges. Initially, Charlie apologizes again upon seeing the prosthetic. However, she takes a different approach when she spots a stud used to hold the leg in place. She takes an award from the sisters' acting days and stabs Amber through the foot. Amber tries to maintain her composure until blood gushes from her foot. She collapses in pain. The police arrest Amber for murder. Now Delia, Bibi, and Cece can split Norma's inheritance. Delia urges Charlie to go into business with her after she purchases the apple orchard. Charlie is about to accept that offer until Beatrix's men return, firing on her.